Hello and welcome to Gym World Worldwide, the #1 fitness business news show in Nunavut and Rapa Nui. If you're not subscribed, do that now. I am joined with my co-host Mateo Lopez and Mark Fisher. Welcome back.
Say Rapa Nui?
Rapa Nui, #1 fitness business news show. Google Analytics tells us that.
All right.
Shout out to all the listeners on Rapa Nui. We love you.
All my Rapa Nui homies.
All the Rapa Nuians, we appreciate you and love you deeply. So let's get into the best and worst stories from the world of fitness business. TikTok influencer Tim Thibodeau, who is the owner of Game Day Barbell, posted a video of what he does each day as a gym owner that got over 1 million impressions and quite a lot of commentary. Let's take a look and see what the Gym World Worldwide crew thinks about it. He's mopping the floor. Now he's vacuuming and throwing away drinks. Plumbing. Ooh, socket wrench set. Fixing his deadlift jack. Adjusting the squat rack.
This is kind of
Cleaning
clutch.
the AC vent. Restocking Bang. Throwing away the garbage. So, tip of the hat to Tim Thibodeau, because that's probably the most watched gym owner specific clip ever on the internet. So, crushed it, man. Way to go.
I mean, I think it's more data that I do not understand TikTok.
Well, so this guy's also put in the reps, right? He's been on YouTube for a while, similar to our old friend Christian Guzman. He's actually, was creating like powerlifting type videos on YouTube for like a long time, for like many years. So he did that as a YouTuber. He's got this powerlifting gym, and he's also according to him, a financial analyst by day. So he's got those 3 jobs. And yeah, at least on the YouTube side, you can tell he's put in the reps. That video was like very well shot.
Yeah.
Clean edits, very engaging, obviously. And yeah, he loves cleaning.
Here's his LinkedIn profile. So like he talks about his financial experience running Game Day Barbell LLC. And his full-time job, which LinkedIn helped him get, is senior financial reporting accountant at Citizens Inc. So while our Christian Guzman video was talking about how he was making millions upon millions upon millions in true powerlifting fashion, it seems like this guy is making dozens upon dozens of dollars.
But he does get to do a lot of working with his hands, which I don't.
So that clip where he's like in the bathroom, I get why this went kind of viral, if especially with gym owners. Like I totally remember having to like when we first built the showers, there was like this weird ass smell after a few months. I had to like go in on one of the drains. I pulled out this like giant mat of hair. It was just gnarly piece of, and I went live on Instagram. It was also one of the most watched lives that the gym ever had. So there might be something to cleaning the gym, going live, or posting on TikTok. I don't want to say I was the first, but this was quite a few
ahead
years
of your
ago
time
when I went. Yeah, it was a very popular live video.
Celebrities are just like us. Tim Thibodeau is just like us.
Exactly. Gym owners are just like you.
Well,
so yeah, the lights were pretty sweet as well. I commented on that when we were watching it. Putting up the lights, very sweet.
one of the reasons this got so much, one of the reasons this got so many views was there was just a ton of engagement on the post.
Right.
There was a fight between internet trolls coming in and saying, you shouldn't be cleaning your bathrooms as a business owner. And then the other constituent, which is like, your customers want to see you clean your bathrooms. You are the only person who can clean your bathrooms, and they appreciate it. They will pay you more money because they can see how hard you are working. He actually made a reply video to some of the trolls, and let's see what he had to say.
I want to take some time to address this really quickly. This comment nailed it right on the head, because when I posted that gym cleaning video, I certainly got a lot of, oh, you're the owner, you shouldn't be doing this, you should just pay somebody else to do it, those types of comments. Now, I understand where people are coming from when they make those types of comments, but we're still a very new business. We're just over a year old, and we don't have all the money in the world. We're still making a good amount of money, don't get me wrong, but why would I want to waste resources and pay somebody to do something if I could do it by myself? And on top of that, if I do it by myself, then I know it's going to get done the way I want it to get done. The other side of the equation is customers. When they see an owner doing something that they could easily pay somebody else to do, they genuinely appreciate that, and it makes them want to come back and support the establishment. My father is a little old school in the way he thinks when it comes to business, because he does own his own business as well. But the one thing that resonated with me is when he said, if you take care of your customers will take care of you. And that's what I'm doing.
So just a little bit of pushback there. Yeah. You can go first if you want, Mark.
No,
Well,
I want to hear
go...
you. Yeah, you go first. Share yours first.
So yeah, I just want to say that he made a comment when the clients come in, they see you cleaning, you know, they appreciate that, they'll pay you more, yada yada yada. One time, John, I didn't own this gym, I was managing this one, and John had sent over a new set of like toiletries to the gym. They were pretty funny. They had like funny branding for the gym. We had some new posters for this set of toiletries. It was very funny. And I had to go in and like open up each little individual bottle and pour in the big soap into it to fill up the new branded bottle of soap. And I was doing this, and I got berated by one of my members saying that you should not be doing this. I don't appreciate you seeing you doing this. Someone else should be doing this. You have to go and fix X, Y, and Z, or this with the programming, or that with this. It was mostly like programming problems this person had. Wow. This is the programming, this and the coaching, blah, blah, blah. Why are you filling up this soap? And then, so yeah, you don't always get DAPs from your members for cleaning or cleaning-related products at the gym. Sometimes they will yell at you for it.
New York City is headquarters of the unsolicited business coach. New York City gyms. Like, because you have like the perfect mixture of management consultants, private equity and VC people, finance bros, just basically people who talk about business but have never actually built one themselves.
This was a finance bro who was
100%. Yeah.
Who was also very bullish on Ethereum early on too. So yeah, he's that kind of guy.
Yeah, in Hoboken we had that guy as well. He was a finance bro. He wasn't even like a investment banker. He was like on the private wealth side, which are like the Bush League guys. And he would just come in and have all kinds of opinions about how to run the gym. And it's like, bro, you know, just like be able to put the barbell over your head and then give us the unsolicited business advice here. But thank you for trying to help in this weird way that only you can do.
Once I had finally set up everything, he did come at me like, okay, it's actually pretty funny in there. Like he appreciated the end results. But
to clarify, we had made toiletries and we named them after like some of our favorite members, and each like thing had its own signature scent, and there was a thing on the wall that you could talk that told the story of the member and the related signature scent. And then
this member got something named after him too, so that was another thing I think where he's like, okay, it's kind of funny.
Yeah, like we literally got his own scent in the gym. Like, what business is going to care about you enough to name a signature product after you, right? And this was kind of just like a little jab at like all the fancy gyms in New York City, where like if you go to one of the boutique studios and take like a $50 class, you go in there and they have like the fancy glass bottle branded stuff that like smells pretty good, and like partnerships with like a skincare brand, and all the merch is like Lululemon. And so it was our like jab at that, because we were under a hot pot restaurant, and we would say that our signature scent was called Chinatown Penthouse. That was the signature scent.
The soap bottle said Bowery fucking CrossFit. Like that was each soap bottle said that. I mean, it was hilarious. It was awesome. But yeah, anyway, they don't all love you for cleaning. I'll tell you that much.
I mean, do you think those are the clients that left the comments on the TikTok? Do you think they followed Tim Tebow and they were sharing their unsolicited advice to Tim Tebow as well?
I think maybe. I think it was probably other gym owners who took a seminar or is following a guru and tells them to delegate.
Well, listen.
Is probably who's yelling at them.
I mean, I do have to confess, I do think I might have a gentle disagreement where his suggestion, he's equating doing mopping with that's how you take care of the customer. I think that was an interesting leap to me that I didn't totally follow. Certainly he has every right to do what he wants to do within his business, but I do think as a general rule of thumb, and I understand he's maybe suggesting that he's not ready to outsource those things, and I guess that could make sense, but I just struggle to follow the thing. The way I show my customers I take care of them is I do the plumbing. Now, for what it's worth, I also confess I have a bias here because I am incompetent at all manual things. I don't know how to do anything. I've never done any of those things. I am such an asshole that, in fact, the only time I've ever done any actual cleaning at Mark Fisher Fitness used to be in the first year when we did many irresponsible things. And after I would go across the street and get as many bottles of booze I could carry over the table, leave them open in an open bar, and then encourage our members and staff to get violently, dangerously drunk, I would go home and sleep for an hour and a half, and then come back at 4 a.m. to mop while still drunk. So that is the only experience I have doing that type of manual labor. And you know what? Maybe our members really did appreciate that. Maybe they did appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, if this person, and I think he does, I feel it seems like he gets a lot of joy out of cleaning the gym and fixing the squat racks and all that stuff.
I get it.
If that's your perfect day,
yeah,
it totally makes sense to architect your business around that for you. But that means you have to outsource and pay for people to like do sales, to do the coaching, to do operations.
It's a power lifting gym. They don't do sales.
Well, I'm just saying
they don't believe in sales. That's
if you want to outsource every other responsibility, even hire another CEO, or so you're just the janitor, like more power to you. Like that's totally viable. You could totally do that if you want, if that's your perfect day. But yeah, I do think a year in, you should ideally have a little bit of extra, not extra cash. You'd have enough. Yeah, you should have enough revenue coming in where you can outsource that task and move on to, finding other ways to create value for the business.
my wife and I used to go to this pizza restaurant in a gas station in Columbus, and they would bring in produce from all the local like farms in Ohio, and the guy would just like whip them together, and like every time you go in there it was a different pizza. Mm-hmm. And I would love going in there and just like seeing the guy's creativity and what he was putting together, and I just like appreciated the amount of work it took to engineer a new menu every week. But I did not give a fuck if that guy was cleaning the bathroom or not. In fact, I don't want that guy cleaning the bathroom.
Right,
you know? Like,
right. Please, like, I hope you are not cleaning the toilets right now.
Right. Like, does he need to hang the signs and the lights? And does he need to put the bang in the cabinet? Like, it just, I don't equate that. Like, consistency in service and the thing that I'm going there to buy is what I'm looking for from the owner, but anything outside of that, I am perfectly okay with you delegating it. In fact, I would probably prefer that because you can focus more time on making my experience even better. So a new industry report by MindBody shows that strength training is cool, cycling is uncool. In research that showed class bookings from the first half of 2019 to class bookings of the first half of 2022, they found that cycling bookings were down 39%, while bootcamp bookings were up 11%. What do you guys make of this?
So I want to talk about these trends, but before we get into that, this was posted, I think, on LinkedIn. This is at least from like one of the guys from Fit Insider. And in the comments section, it was getting kind of spicy. My favorite one was from Will Brereton, and he replied to the poster saying, did you see the source data? This graph feels pretty reductive given how complex the market is in reality, and MindBody Online are not known for their peer-reviewed white papers. I wouldn't be basing any decisions on it just yet. And I just thought, whoa, pretty intense shots fired from Will Brereton.
I don't personally fault MindBody for not putting out peer-reviewed white papers for their slide things, and I do appreciate them sharing their data with people like us. And then we are a competitor to MindBody, and I think that is perfectly okay that they didn't publish that in a journal of medicine. I don't think it takes a rocket scientist to figure out that cycling isn't doing great and strength training is. On the cycling front, two major developments happened. So development number one was a ClassPass and SoulCycle collaboration. So in August, SoulCycle said, hey, we're going to shut down some studios and fire a bunch of people. And we found out about this through a leaked all-hands meeting. And then 3 months later, they released a press release. Well, ClassPass did and said, hey, we're on ClassPass now. So now those rides that used to cost $50, we're going to get 20 from them. And everybody was kind of shocked. Like there are people who just like blog about studio stuff because there's just like a much bigger audience for that than like strength training and CrossFit. And SoulCycle had been very adamant that they weren't going to discount, and they were like a very premium brand. Premium bands don't discount, and like ClassPass, at least in the New York City scene, I don't know if you have the same opinion, Mark, is seen as kind of this like desperation play, right? And if you're unfamiliar with how ClassPass works, is like they fill up empty slots in your. They charge people a membership fee, and then they fill up empty class slots for you, the gym owner, and the gym owner gets like, I don't know, half of what they would normally charge during a normal class. And then they send you some of the worst possible prospects you could get, because there are people who are inclined to hop from studio to studio. Like they literally, their gym membership is one that revolves around not going to the same place twice. And there are people who go to like all the hip studios, so they're the most hypercritical of customers, and they have no love for your business itself and have no problem writing a shitty review about your gym somewhere on the internet. So in general, we thought of this as like a huge losing proposition. We did it like for 2 days, and we were like, this is not for us. And
yeah, it was awful.
We're very judgy of people who did do it. Do you do ClassPass over at MFF?
No, fuck no. No, it's funny enough, John, you might remember from our first romantic dinner where we met with the various fitness industry people you brought together, the one thing that everyone had a consensus about was no one had had a good experience with ClassPass. Now, I am not a genius, and I messed many things up, but I will say from day one that smelt fishy, because ClassPass started the day Mark Fisher Fitness happened, and I was like, For the very point you mentioned, particularly in a market like New York City where no one wants to get married till they're 50, because they're like, what are you, getting married? You're in your 40s. You should be out there slutting it up and having sex with strangers. You're not even 50 yet. So it does cater specifically to this polyamorous fitness consumer, which is not the type of person that's easy to build a business around. And all the concerns you mentioned, I think, are very valid. My take on this, which I don't think is particularly insightful, is that I think SoulCycle needs some leads, right? Because that's always been the UVP of ClassPass, which you've seen and experienced, and in theory, I never was sold on. Because the way they sell it is, and again, this is good for you ClassPass people. You have an awesome business. You're very bright. You're killing it. But I can say as an independent consumer, I never really found it a valuable thing, because by definition, the leads you're getting me are not qualified leads. They want to keep spending X dollars per month and fitness slutting it up. And I am supportive of that. I support your ethical sluttery, but I tend to be more monogamously inclined when it comes to my relationships with my fitness consumers. So I think at this point, SoulCycle needs to get out there and date a little bit more. I think it's things have changed. Maybe SoulCycle is going to stay on Raya, but now they're going to be on some of the lesser apps. But I wish them the best. I hope they find great people that love SoulCycle and then choose to spend 3 times more money to take those classes.
So the other thing that I found funny, speaking of peer reviewed research.
Yeah, white papers.
Yeah, the white papers. MindBody and ClassPass did a 2022 look back report in the fitness and wellness trend section of the peer reviewed white paper. They said that the fastest growing fitness class is Sculpt. So if you have a boot campy like offering and you call it Sculpt, apparently you will make more money. Compliments of MindBody and ClassPass.
Something that's interesting here is the most popular month to work out is August. which is pretty wild because at least in our neck of the woods and when we were running gyms, it was always the worst time running a gym.
Correct.
Most CrossFit gyms that I talk to as well struggle in this month, and it's just wild to see that. Maybe it's like, I mean, we would try like back to school kind of get fit specials, but it never really worked. But maybe with things like Sculpt, maybe that is a thing where now you're like, I don't know, you can drop the kids off now and now you can get back to doing sculpting. I don't know, but that was pretty wild to see that. I was like, what's happening? What are we doing wrong? What did I do wrong?
Yeah, I would guess ClassPass is a hot commodity in the young mom demographic. So I could totally see how with kids going back to school, that would be hot. But even then, I would think September would be more,
right?
Yeah,
That's what like the
September would be
August thing
hotter.
is totally throwing me off.
Well, you got to be skeptical of the data. We got to find out who reviewed
It's not
this
peer
paper.
reviewed. It's not white. The paper's not white.
know.
Who
that paper
reviewed
was
the
not
white
white,
paper?
right? It wasn't
Damn
white.
it.
So
Damn it. They hate science. I'm tired of them shitting on
you-
science. Wait, by the
you
way,
go back
are there
to the,
peer-reviewed white papers in fitness? Is that a thing? Are there
I
peer-reviewed?
feel like you would know. You would have found it by now, Mark.
In
Definitely.
fitness, yes, but in fitness business, absolutely not.
Right.
Who cares?
Yeah, the fitness business. Yeah, like does like
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, like Ursa, you know, they have got their big fancy report, but yeah, how would you even do a peer review of? I'm confused.
How-
But it's
In the-
possible. I
in
just
the-
don't know.
As
What are the
the
control
owner
groups?
of the #1 fitness business news show in Rapa Nui, I can tell you nobody cares about this stuff. So I can't imagine there is an entire publication, like just a panel of scientist gym owners who are like scrutinizing MindBody's data, being like, prove to us that Sculpt is the #1 fitness trend of 2022. Like, though that would be awful, and I bet a lot of like miserable gym owners would definitely want to do that. Like, you could put together such a panel.
So this one I thought is pretty interesting, where CrossFit is down 9%, and yet if we're looking at the other ClassPass data, strength training is up. So I just feel like, what is going on? You know, that something's going on with the brand where they can't seem to explain to people that they are strength training, they're functional fitness. We're also part of this category. Come to us, and like we're also part of the trend. You know, just come over here. The water's fine. There's some disconnect going on that I don't know why, but like they can't seem to, they can't seem to, I guess, show up for those searches, which is wild because again, like so much of CrossFit is strength training.
I think it might be the same issue that historically we've talked about, which is that it's a little too chalky, skull and crossbones, all black dungeon vibes. So that even
Not
if they
enough
do
sculpting
show
going
up,
on.
yeah, it's like we want a little bit more sculpting in our strength training, a little less bloody palms.
Yeah.
Well, that was the point I was going to make, is that a lot of successful affiliate owners have either stopped their affiliation with CrossFit or they've kind of hidden it. So they've rebranded as such and such strength and conditioning instead of such and such CrossFit. And they've rebranded some of their classes to sound more like Sculpt or like Burn, or there's another one that's used a lot rather than just like CrossFit or competitive CrossFit. And need to remember that MindBody probably skews a little more towards the yoga cycling boutique space. They're still, if I had to guess, they're still probably the largest in CrossFit as well because they're just a massive company. But I would guess the ones that are like super duper hardcore CrossFit probably use a more CrossFit specific solution for their gym management as well.
But to your point, Mark, that may be like a takeaway for gym owners, especially if you're a CrossFit gym or a functional training gym. Like, there was this interesting post from this guy. I think his handle's Bruno Training. I don't actually know his name, but he
Bruno.
does a lot of
Ben Bruno,
Yeah.
dude. Kate Upton.
Yeah,
Sculpted Kate
yeah.
Upton. You
Kate
know?
Upton.
This guy's
Chelsea
a legend.
Chelsea Handler.
He's from
he did a
the Mike
post
Coyle strength
recently.
conditioning world.
Right. So like all his stuff is like strength
Very
conditioning.
legit.
All his stuff is like CrossFit-y. Like it's a lot of trap bar deadlifts. It's a lot of Nordic
Functional
hamstring curls. It's a lot of landmines. And he just posted this thing recently where he was like, if people come in to ask if what I do, or like I want to focus on toning, I just say yes. we do toning.
Yes.
I'm going to get you toned.
Yes.
Like I just say yes, even though I know that what toning is just like building muscle, building strength, like, and they're just going to do Nordic hamstring curls and trap bar deadlifts and landmines. Like, I just tell them, yes, you like toning, we're going to do toning. And so maybe that's a lesson in your intros or sales consultations for your box gym or whatever. Like, if people come in saying like, well, I'm a little nervous, like I need more cardio, or like I want to do more toning, just be like, yeah, all we do is cardio.
This is the best way
all
to
we do
start.
is toning. That's it. Just do it. Yeah, that's what
Our
we do
focus
here
is toning.
at
Toning
CrossFit
CrossFit.
123.
CrossFit
Yeah,
sculpt,
exactly.
CrossFit toning.
Yeah, I don't know.
Tone
Seems
your
like you could
buns.
work.
Buns and abs here at CrossFit Toning.
Maybe that's something we can use for Kilo. We'll do like a dynamic class thing. So there'll be like a field form for the class, and
Yes.
based off of what they select
Yes.
before, it changes all the class names. So it's like,
Exactly.
what is your number one fitness goal? Like tone or sculpt, and they click that, and all the classes go from like CrossFit to tone and sculpt. Or it's
Lengthening or
like
yes.
gaining muscle. Everything's like muscle gain at 4:30, muscle gain at 5:30.
Yeah.
It just like dynamically changes the class names based off of the prospect's goals.
It's pretty
The
smart.
innovation we need. That's what give the people what they want.
Speaking more about trouble for large cycling juggernauts, Peloton announced that they are launching a refurbished bike program. This comes just 2 months after they said they would be doing a bike rental program. So basically, rather than paying $2,500 for the bike and then a subscription, you would pay $140 a month for the bike and the subscription, and then if you quit, they would like repo you and hit you with a bunch of charges. The fact that they are now doing a refurbished bike program just slightly after this, paired with their $1.1 billion in inventory, leads me to believe that there wasn't a lot of pent-up demand for bike rentals.
You know, we can say what we want about Peloton, but because what they can afford to pay their instructors, they have some great instructors, and there is a lot that gym owners and inspiring trainers can learn about creating a great class experience. Now, it's also true that small group training and classes are actually quite different services with quite different experience expectations. But I would say that it is a unique experience now where, particularly even if you're just using the app, you can get some amazing research, some amazing things to model, some even training materials for people on your team. But I don't know if their business is going to make it.
I mean, the thing is, the dirty little secret about Peloton instructors is that they all train at a popular boutique strength training gym in New York City that Teo was a member of. So
They all train at the
we can bleep it out. There was like eight of the 10 like most popular ones, at least back when I was talking with those guys pretty frequently. All worked out there.
Oh wow, I did not know that. Actually, I did meet one of them when I went. So yeah, there you go.
If there's any Peloton execs listening, I've devised a plan that will move some inventory. You guys want to see it? Let me present to you the Peloton plunge. Now, what this is a cold plunge with a Peloton attached to it. So the cold plunge bros can be more alpha than just cold plungers. So you can exercise while doing your cold exposure. And if you buy the upgraded Peloton Plunge Plus, it automatically posts your plunge experience to every social media outlet. So people know that not only were you doing cold, that you exercise. So you're flexing on all of your social media followers.
It's pretty genius, especially because you can have all your funny like faces like, oh man, that was so cold, or like, oh, it was so cold. And like, you could just like that will be part of the, when you share it, that's what you're sharing. You can watch all the funny faces that all your friends make when they're getting in very, very cold water. All the cursing, and then the guys who really are the people who are just like really alpha, just so stoic. Like that'll be the next like trends, like do your cold plunge, do not react at all. And that'll be the next challenge, and everyone will post that challenge. And then, yeah, it's pretty genius actually.
Fisher, did all that came from like Wim Hof, right? Like he's like the origin of all this.
I believe it certainly was the first time it entered my brain ball was when people started losing their mind about Wim Hof several years ago. You know, it's interesting. It does seem like there is some useful stuff for it. My understanding broadly is we don't have a ton of data yet 100%, but overall it seems like it's probably a good idea. But yeah, Wim Hof was the first guy, and everyone was like, "Oh, there's this guy. He goes like hiking in like underwear." And for a while, actually, a number of Mark Fisher Fitness team members didn't have winter jackets. A number of the guys on the team in the cold of winter and would take great pride and pleasure walking around in a t-shirt in New York City in 20-degree
That's so
weather.
badass.
They were all
insane.
So cool. So you know what Wim Hof does for money, or at least he did a few times for money, because I watched it, I witnessed it.
in. No.
No one wants to guess?
Does he whimper like a child? Wim Hof, I'll give you $1 million if you go, but the whole time I want you to emasculate yourself and just whimper. Here we go, Wim Hof.
What he does is he does ice bath consultations now. So I virtual consultations. So I watched this video along with 300,000 other people of him just like consulting with this YouTuber about like the experience of the cold plunge. And God damn, is this guy charismatic. Like he's just like making all these weird noises, and he's telling them, once you get out of the pool, you must go whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. And the guy's like trying to do it in the video, but he's like not as cool as Wim Hof. And so he's like louder, 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 louder.
Come on, 3 minutes.
When you get out, you go in the horse stance, you do make a noise. Primal force.
And like I would guarantee he probably makes like $500 to $1,000 every time he does one of these like cold plunge shaman consultations.
Wow, good for
I'm
him.
surprised.
Love
I mean,
that.
he does seem like he's like a good cult leader, right? Like that's kind of what you want out of a cult leader. I want someone that's like
do.
kind of intimidating, like 100% certainty, got some quirky
Very
things going
charismatic.
on, but in the world of I believe it, I'd follow him. But I don't want to be in the cult, so I don't.
So Peloton, if you would like to do the Peloton plunge, DMs are open. Hit up Gym World Worldwide. We'd be happy to collab with you.
Very
So
nice.
guys, when we set out to do this show, we had one goal in mind. Gym World Domination. Since then, I found out that there is another company with a similar goal. They want to colonize the world with gyms. And their social media is so much better than ours. Let's take a look.
Let's pump some iron.
Since its founding, World
Just
Gym has
no
evolved
shots of the
into
gym
an
yet.
internationally recognized brand that has captured the imagination of fitness lovers around the globe. Focused on the mantra, seriously fun fitness, World Gym is dedicated to creating ultimate workout destinations across the globe. With its headquarters located in sunny Southern California, World Gym currently has over 200 locations in 19 countries and 6 continents.
But they don't have Rapa Nui and Nunavut. That's ours.
It's true.
No. You just need to make your niche small enough, and you can all be number one, listeners. But don't take Rapa Nui because that's ours.
So, what do you make of this, Mark?
Well, I think I have to confess, I think they are a little ahead of us. We do not have any bodybuilders on our show as guests yet. I think there's some things we can learn from World Gym. I think they are a very old-timey brand making it in the modern world. And, I frankly, for one, I think it's an honor to share the same words in the names of our businesses. So I don't think of them as rivals so much as worthy competitors that are inspiring us to greater heights of World Gym greatness for the benefit of society, really.
I definitely feel I feel similarly. I definitely feel the same things you're feeling. I think I don't know much about this business, but what I feel in my heart is that they are our true nemesis, a really great foil for us. They have to be destroyed, except I do think that's only going to be the beginning. I think that's how it's going to start. And then I think it'll be kind of like a fire and water kind of a thing.
Oh, yeah.
And there will be this reveal later on that actually we've been on the same side this entire time. And then we'll unite to liberate the world through fitness, through gym world, the world through gyms and fitness. It's kind of how I think it's going to go down.
I mean, I have
but
to
right
imagine,
now we're in like our enemy phase, you know?
I have to imagine their executive team is having the exact same conversations right now
Right.
about us.
Right.
We're young, we're hungry, we're urban, we're hip, we're quirky.
Yeah.
Right. Like we're like, oh, this established brand with a magazine and cool B-roll of bodybuilders and a conference room of Asian people clapping for them. That is sick.
A lot of Pan-Asian representation I noticed in that clip. Yeah.
Yeah, it was I think there had to have been 400 people in that clip, just all clapping. Unclear. They're all in suits, so it,
Yes.
you know, it wasn't. Yes. It definitely was not a like workout or anything like that. So I wonder if they just took that from like some stock image library. They're like,
no, they just are fans, and this was a fan convention for World Gym. And
they're like,
no, we're not going to be in workout gear. We're going to be in our suits because we know photos are being taken.
Yeah, we want to look good. Well, if you want to help this young, hungry urban upstart take over the gym world, please subscribe to our channel. We are only 1,000 subscribers behind them, and they have 1,000 subscribers. So every little thumbs up, every little bell button helps.
So World Gym actually has this interesting thing that they are doing or trying, is they are introducing like a couple new franchise concepts, I think. So I don't know if you've heard of this, Mark, but they have one model that's called World Gym Legacy, and it actually looks pretty tight. Like It's a Globo Gym, size of a giant Globo Gym, but just nothing but platforms, squat racks, free weights, dumbbells. It's all like functional strength training stuff in like a Globo Gym type of a setup, and it looks pretty sweet. I kind of want to go to one. And then they have another like studio-based gym that's going to double as like a content creation, video on demand facility. I think it's Gym World Signature with Studio X inside, and which I think again is pretty smart. They're kind of recognizing there's this like online component that has grown because of the pandemic, but also people returning to the gym. So why not get you a gym that can do both? And I guess these are also pretty expensive to build. It's like, you know, some of them are like $1 million to build out. But yeah, I think the idea of like a global gym with nothing but squat racks is pretty sweet, especially when we're seeing from the things we talked about earlier in this episode, the growing trend in people interested in signing up for strength training type classes or gyms or studios. So I don't know, maybe they're onto something.
I mean, I agree. It's difficult to admit this about our sworn enemy, but I agree. I think it's a great strategy. I've actually heard a few podcasts about the rollout and the thinking behind this, and the thing that does feel kind of savvy, which, and I want to caution this, I say this because I don't want to feed the confirmation bias of any gym owners listening saying they necessarily should do this too, but very explicitly, they're saying, listen, everybody right now is going for the blue ocean of the beginner's market and making fitness feel very easy for beginners and getting bells and whistles. But because of just the sheer aging of our industry, there's a large part of the population that knows what they need to do and would love to just have a gym full of awesome equipment and be able to do their own thing. And I could see that model actually also making sense on the back end because of the way the margins might look. I mean, I haven't seen any P&Ls, but one can assume that that might be a lean model to run. And it is an interesting zag if everyone else in the world is trying to go for this, first 3 months person, finally going to try to get off the couch, finally going to go to boutique fitness. And they're saying, no, we've been around since 1976. Frank Zane trained here. We're associated with hardcore lifting and bodybuilders. We're just going to be a hardcore lifting gym, and we'll create a great space. And I could see it making a lot of sense. I'm less maybe keen on the other big box gym with a studio inside it, just because I think there's a number of larger brands I think are going with that move. Again, I hope everybody's successful and a lot of luck, but the legacy footprint is interesting. And I guess maybe one other question that we're not privy to answers on the inside with our sworn enemies, the executives at World Gym, is I am curious to just note, it seems challenging operationally to have two what feel like pretty distinct footprints, business model types of franchise systems happening concurrently. And I'm sure there's someone that is really smart that's thought about that has reasoning I don't understand from the outside.
Well, before you knock the Studio One, it's going to feature Booty Boulevard, which is a lineup of specialized equipment focused solely on the glutes. They'll also have a wellness and recovery wing, which will offer all kinds of well-being and rejuvenation things, a barbell cafe, and a class called, now check this out, Incinerate, with an 8 at the end. Incinerate. So, if you're looking for tight names and you don't want to go with Sculpt, maybe consider some name with a number at the end of it.
Dude, Booty Boulevard is a great selling point.
Yeah,
I love
Booty Boulevard is tight.
Yeah, the marketing firm that came up with Booty Boulevard should have made their money on that one.
Into it. Sign me up.
Gym management software provider Wodify released a non-peer-reviewed white paper called Behind the Numbers, Why and How You Should Be Nurturing Your Newest Clients. What they found may shock you. They said new clients are 68% more likely to cancel their membership if they haven't been to class in 20 or more days compared to long-term clients.
Now, I do have to say, even though I doubt this data, because this is yet another booking software that has nothing but resentment towards science and the scientists we rely on to vet this type of data. I will say, I will say this, I must confess, I know there's a hot take that's like, oh, this is like obvious. If they don't show up, they're not going to come. But I must concede, I think the delta between the long-term clients and the short-term clients is maybe even bigger than I would have assumed. In retrospect, it's not entirely unintuitive, but I won't lie to you, gentlemen, and this is maybe a takeaway for you gym owners watching. I actually sent this article to my team with the instruction, let's take another peeky at our first 90-day onboarding, because I think we've done an admirable job of building back a slightly lighter touch, but still pretty effective one now that their new world after the apocalypse seems to have ended. And I think we might want to take another look again and just make sure, do we have some kind of touch point to make sure those people are coming? And if not, how do we track them down like the dogs they are, come into their apartment, break inside, crack open the window if need be, physically firemen carry them into the gym and make them work out so we keep them as members and, importantly, save their lives.
I mean, but that was my favorite part of this article, was there's a line that says, this data should sound intuitive to you because everyone on the internet has told you to do this. But yeah, that was my favorite part of the article. I also love how it seems like they use some, like, I don't know, machine learning or AI tools to come up with this this revelation. So yeah, I mean, if AI said it, then we definitely know that it's true.
Yeah, it seems like there's a lot of gym management players now saying that they're building artificial intelligence led management software, like your gym will be on autopilot because of AI. And then you try and figure out like what it's doing. And it's like, we detect when your people are going to cancel and we send them an email. And like, I don't know about you guys, but when I used Zen Planner in like 2012, they had like a missing member automation that sent them an email when they went missing. Like, I don't, maybe they adjusted a day or two just based off of the client's history. But, do you guys feel that this is going to be something that is going to be like revolutionary for gym owners if they're like missing member emails go out a couple days earlier or later based off of some algorithm?
No.
I mean, no. I also think a lot of the gyms we work with, they're smaller gyms. They're like 100 to 150-ish clients, athletes. Like, those are people you can all still maintain like personal relationships with. And I think you would be better off, if not the owner, then like your coaches or like your front desk staff. Like, you should be kind of personally reaching out. And I think you'll get a higher ROI with that personal outreach, whether it's from a Facebook message or text or Instagram or a phone call. Crazy idea, a phone call. I think you'll get a better ROI than you will trying to set up the various AI components and automations for your gym management software. But that's just my 2 cents. Our company's building gym management software. It's called Kilo. If you want to check it out, go to usekilo.com if you're interested. It's very new. It's still in a beta phase. It's going through, shall we say, its growing pains, right, as a very new platform. But even we have a very easily searchable list of your at-risk members. And yeah, we couldn't afford the AI, but we somehow figured out to present coaches and gym owners with one button. You just have to click it right on your homepage and say, show me my missing members, and it will show you a list. It'll give you their phone numbers, their emails if you want to contact them. It's actually very, it's a very, you don't even have to search. You literally just click it and it's right there. So I don't know. I'm not trying to throw down, I'm not trying to throw down the gauntlet, but I'm just saying, like, I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe is it maybe time now for arguably overly charitable Mark to try to understand the best possible framing of this? Because maybe the best possible framing is perhaps there is a meaningfully more sophisticated algorithm that has a different way of splicing the data that is a little more sophisticated than just purely the person hasn't been there for a while. Now, maybe we could question, is that really going to change the game the way like a more traditional just missing members report would? Yeah, so Mark Fisher Fitness obviously has we call them the MIA Ninjas report, which we run on a regular basis, and then we both put them through not only some automated follow-up, but we automate the manual call from one of our people to call the person that's not there, just to be like, hey, checking in on you, okay? But yeah, maybe there's some really extra special algorithm here that's not obvious from the way this is written, which kind of just sounds like the way it always is.
Say they have this algorithm that allows them to predict when a member is more likely to leave, like 20x better than just like missing member for 14 days. We know from our talk with Chris Cooper in the Two Brain State of the Industry that the average CrossFit gym owner, which is probably like Wodify's client base, is doing like $15,900 a month in revenue, which leads me to believe that's like a one-man band with maybe a couple part-time coaches. And so you get flagged, and what they're saying here is it's not even an automation, it just flags the person you call them. So in order for this to be something of like true value, like the AI would need to identify the member, and then the gym owner would have to like physically call them. And like, I'm sure this is something that sounded like amazing in development meetings, but if you're someone like us who has coached like hundreds and hundreds of gym owners one-on-one on marketing, like, you know that regardless of how good that algorithm is, like those gym owners are not going to call those people and make more calls.
Can I offer one other very contrarian thought? And please understand this, gym owners. I'm not saying don't call the people, fuck it. But I think you should definitely call people. I think it might help a little bit. But there's not I think a well agreed upon script or what it is you say that reliably gets the people that aren't coming to your gym to come back in. Now, again, I'm not saying you shouldn't do this because small hinges will swing big doors. So over time, if you're doing this consistently, it will compound when you save a member here and there. But I also want to acknowledge it's going to be a lot of those times, it doesn't have anything to do with you. And even if you call them, what are you going to say? You're going to say like, hello, I just want to let you know that the AI that runs my booking platform says you might be at risk of terminating. Well, frankly, I can't afford you to leave. So what do I got to do to get you back in here?
I had to buy this AI system. You can't cancel.
I mean, being flippantly, again, to be clear, I certainly think you should do this. I'm not saying don't do this. And I'm not trying to underweight the value of this. I'm trying to just right size how much actually value this does present, because in practice, there's only so much you could do when the person, particularly if it's their first month in, you don't really know them. They've stopped coming for 10 days, 20 days. Now, hopefully you're going to catch them before that long. But, and again, they might appreciate that you called them, but, again, I'm afraid to keep pulling on this thread here because I don't want to sound like an anarchist or a complete nihilist about return where they're just going to terminate. There's nothing you can do. On a long enough time scale, everybody terminates. Just give it up. Just don't need to spend any time on play video games. But,
This is what happens when you own a gym for 10 years, folks.
Everybody breaks your heart eventually on a long enough time scale. They'll all betray you. There might be a kind of Tony Robbins-y kind of coach. It's like, I made a commitment to you to change your life. I'm going to be at your door first thing tomorrow morning. I'm physically bringing you here, right? And I will say this, we have been getting very consistently wonderful feedback from these calls, because this was a thing that was a little bit sunsetted and now has been back, and we're doing it very consistently. And again, people are very appreciative of it, and I think we can and should do it. It's a great, I think, customer service move. And in practice, it is also as likely when you poke that sleeping bear, the person be like, oh yeah, you're right, I haven't been coming. Yeah, let's just go ahead and terminate, right? I'm not in 30 days, right? Legally, I can just like end the year-long agreement. Yeah, let's just, this isn't working for me. You're right, I'm not getting there. Thanks for reminding me. I'm not getting there. Let's terminate.
That's the AI system we're going to create. So it's going to scan the database for people who have likely forgotten that their credit card is in your system, and it's going to flag them as do not call.
Yeah, do
Don't
not
poke
call,
the bear.
exactly.
Don't
Do
poke
not
the
bother
bear.
these people.
Right.
They've been paying for 6 months, and they haven't showed up to class. I think they're going to pay again, so don't even worry about it.
Right. That's the algorithm that we're going to build. Gym owners, you have to do nothing. It's just free money showing up in your bank account every month. Stick with us. We got your back.
Now we've become the enemy. We've become the big box gym that we were all filled with rage and self-righteousness against. It. We're going to beat the big box gyms. Their business models dependent upon you renting equipment you don't know how to use, and they bend it on you not coming there. But we're better than that. We have become destroyer of worlds.
That's our
become the
KPI.
thing-
Big box gym, 60% of the people aren't going. We're going to get kilo gyms to 75. We're going to flex on them. We're going to out big box them.
We became the very thing we swore to destroy. The other part in this article that I loved was it said in this article about the AI from Wodify or whatever, how to retain members, it says, don't treat your new people like you treat your long-term members. And I'm just like, yeah, don't treat them like pieces of shit the way you treat your long-term members.
Don't sleep with them and sexually
don't
harass
sleep with them. Don't don't go to parties with them. Like, don't do any of that. Like, what you do with your long-term ones, do not do that
that's
with your newbies.
Get that out of the business.
With your newbies. And then the other thing is like, well, I mean, my long-term ones are like my favorite members. Like, I treat them way better than I treat my newbies. So like, if anything, I should treat my new people like my loyal ones, you know, my day one homies, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. That's the part I thought was pretty funny also, the article.
I mean, my big takeaway was when I saw it said 90% of your 18 plus month members are likely to stick around. The takeaway is once you're at the 18-month mark, woof, kick those feet up.
Yeah.
You can completely ignore those members, not a problem.
Exactly.
That's the business strategy. So what you're going to do, Mark, is you're going to go and you're going to make all your memberships free for the first 18 months.
Okay.
And then your retention is going to skyrocket. And then when they start paying, they'll just never leave. That's what the AI told us.
Pow. Value. Pow.
Follow us for more business building tips. That's all we got for Gym World this week. Tune in next week for the best and worst stories from the fitness industry. Love you. Bye.